You know what, they've done really well. You know, everybody knows the difficulties they had in the first part of the season, but I think they're in good form and getting key players back. I was impressed with their performance last night. It's always a cracker. Don't expect it to be any different. There are two confident teams playing on Sunday as opposed to the first time around. So I think there's parity. There's not much going to be difference in that. I think like them, they have some players who are really on form like we do, and we're at home. And I always, every team wants to play at home, and especially the performance we put in on Wednesday. Like, it's going to be a sellout Sunday, and it's going to be loud. She took a heavy blow in that 1v1. It was a bit sore, more from the impact. I think her legs were off the floor, but the impact of it, I think, was a bit of a bone bruise for her. She was in for treatment yesterday. She's been having treatment today, so we're doing our best to get her ready for the weekend. She needs a little bit of treatment. She did a little bit out in the training pitch today, but I think she'll be fine. The fact that it's been such a strange season, no one really knows which way it's going to go. What I know is the product's getting better, and to think that Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea versus Man City, what brilliant games for everybody to watch this weekend, means that everybody is driving the sport to where it needs to be, is just another weekend in like what has been, I think, another brilliant campaign in the WSL. So exciting, but for me, honestly, it is just another game. I'm still trying to recover from Wednesday. So it's just churn and churn and churn, and I'm sure all the other teams would say the same. Tell you what, be in this position. You know, the minute you start getting your hands on a trophy, or you start thinking about, I'll be in this position. I've learned so much from errors over the years. That's where I speak from. A place of stay, what's the focus? Recover, got to do the strategy for tomorrow. Got to speak to a couple of players, go home, rest, great training session tomorrow, get the clips ready for game day. And it's like step by step by step. There's so much work that you guys don't always see that goes on in football clubs, that we don't actually sit around and preoccupy ourselves. We're actually too busy.
You could compete or have a go at a Winter Olympic sport. What would you be best at, do you think?
100% curling. I wanted to do that. I used to watch it when I was in university. I remember sitting there watching hours of it. I loved it. Absolutely amazing. Either that or has to be kamikaze downhill skiing. I love to ski. I haven't done it in a few years, but yeah, something like that.
Hi Gareth, long time no see. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Mike. You?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good.
Good to see you. Let's start with exactly what Emma alluded to there, dress rehearsal for the League Cup final. Do you see it like that, or is it completely just a game in its own single entirety?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to come, obviously. There's a lot of football to come before that game, and in the beginning of March. So, people will naturally look at it as whoever's successful in that has a divine right to be successful in the final. It doesn't work like that. Football's different, and for me, it's a good opportunity for us. You know, we know we're going up against obviously a good team, and fortunately at the moment we're in a strong vein of form ourselves, looking really sharp in a lot of areas, and that'll be the game plan for us, is making sure we execute what we do really well, and going for the win, which we always do.
Yeah, as you say, good form there. Is now a good time to play Chelsea with that then?
Well, it's probably a better time to play than what we were earlier in the season. But it was a nice last night having such a massive selection of players to have, and quality players from the sidelines. So we're in good shape in that respect. We're still, not back to complete full strength with everyone being available, but we understand the reality of football that hardly ever happens. In terms of from where we were, we're in a much healthier place in terms of the way we're playing and the way we're winning games, and also with the health of the squad as well, which is good.
Is it season defining, this game, in terms of the WSL?
Well, I think the next two games will be. I think they will be. I think we need to make sure that we're we're giving ourselves the best opportunity once we finish both of these games to go. We're in a good position still for our objectives. So I think it's important to go down and get the right result for us at the weekend, and that takes us into the next game. But I think it's you're going to get to that part of the season where ultimately, it comes down to getting out there, getting the result we need to continue with the journey.
Finally, from me, last night, you've obviously got 24 hours less in Chelsea to prepare for this game, but on the positive side, if you want to put a positive spin on it, you're going off the back of reaching the League Cup final. So how do you view it? Is the 24 hours less a concern, or can you take the positivity that you gained from last night? Yeah,
I think there's a couple of ways of looking at it, really. I mean, we understand we had our gripe 2 weeks ago when it was arranged. That was that. We felt that it was a little bit harsh, especially the fact that we're travelling down to there as well. But look, it is what it is, and I think, like you say, we need to focus on recovering now. The girls look in good shape today, and everyone's got good energy and good confidence, and we're prepared tomorrow and be ready for the game on Sunday. So, like you say, we're pretty much hitting the ground running, so to speak, at the moment, and we need to carry that momentum through till Sunday.
Cheers, mate. Best of luck.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. And Emma Sanders, do you want to jump in next?
Hi, guys. It's not even been 24 hours since the last.
Yeah, I know.
Hope you're okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you sort of alluded it there in terms of the players. You said that they look they look nice and energetic in training, which is great. Just wanted to ask about Ellen White, because obviously she was on the bench last night, wasn't she? But is she any closer to perhaps starting on the weekend?
Yeah, she is. I think she's got a bit more training under her belt now. I think we were hoping to be able to use her at Forest last week, but obviously we got close to that game and she had a slight niggle, so it kept her out. The same with Steph. So I think Ellen's available. We need to look at it and see how players check in tomorrow as well. But we've got really good options at the moment, and I think we've got the Australian players back now, which is great as well. Julie came on and made a contribution, and like I say, the options we have at the moment available are really good, and long may that continue.
Yeah, and just in terms of the results that could go on the weekend, over the next fortnight really, there's some big games, isn't there? Obviously Arsenal play United, you've got United as well to come up, and then obviously the game this weekend. So do you think if results go your way, and obviously you do the job your end, you guys are going to be right up there in terms of still being able to challenge for the title?
Yeah, of course. I think regardless, really, whatever the results are this weekend, there's not a huge distance between 5 or 6 teams. So I think it's about staying in the hunt as best we possibly can. That's always been the objective after our early season struggles. And we seem to be a bit closer now to where we want to get to. But yeah, we're under no illusions. We're coming up against good opposition, and we're not looking ahead any further than Sunday, and looking forward to that game, going into it in decent form.
Yeah, just last one from me. We did an investigative piece on the BBC Sport website last week around sort of player-coach relationships in the professional women's game. I don't know whether you've read that, but I just wondered what your stance was on those relationships. Do you sort of agree with them, or do you think that there's boundaries that need to be set between sort of coaches and players?
I think it's there needs to be boundaries. I think between coach and players for certain. I think there needs to be. We need to make sure everybody's respected in the game, and I think. Making sure that there's no abuse of power, I think, is really important. I don't really have an opinion on people who are in those kind of relationships, but I think obviously as long as everybody's respected within the workplace, I think that's the most important thing.
Would you welcome, any more education on perhaps what those boundaries might be for, coaches and players widespread across the game?
Yeah, I think any of these potential issues that come up, I think any education is great for us to have across the board. I think, even just talking about these things raises that kind of awareness of the importance of it, and the importance that everybody is respected and feels valued within the game at any level.
Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks, Emma. Cheers.
Thanks, Emma. Room to the written section, guys. Tom, Gary, do you want to kick us off there?
Thanks, Emma. Hi, Gareth. Nice to speak to you.
Hi, Tom.
I hope you're well. We were just talking to Emma Hayes on her pre-match press conference, and she was quite adamant in saying that Man City, is still a threat in the title race. Still thinks you're in the title race. Is that something you agree with? Are you still challenging for the title?
Yeah, we are. We are, of course. Yeah, it never stops. We always keep going until the end. And it's such an unpredictable kind of title race this season. I think that it's probably been completely different to what we've seen over the last few years. So in football, anything can happen, and I think it's good that we're still in the hunt, but we're aware of the importance of taking one game at a time and taking the maximum points that we can. But we always make sure that we don't get ahead of ourselves in that respect. We know that our level of performance is really important how we dominate all of the phases to give ourselves the best possible chance of the best result.
And what about the game tomorrow? Will you watch that game? Will you be able to sit down and watch the Arsenal Man United game?
Well, we will, either in transit on the way down to Chelsea or on reflection. We'll definitely have a look at that. But yeah, all the emphasis for us is concentrating on what we do. We try not to get too taken in by what's happening elsewhere. As soon as Sunday's done, the focus always then moves to the next game. And it's a good weekend for the WSL. Exciting games.
If you don't mind me just asking one more, I wondered. I know we spoke last night about quite a few players, Jess Park and others, and Ellie Robert. But I wondered if I could ask you about the return of Lucy Bronze. How much of a boost has that been since she made her return? I think it was the 9th of January, unbeaten since then. What's it been like coming back into the camp?
Yeah, Lucy's got huge experience. I think she brings confidence to the team. She brings communication in that back line as well, and obviously the flip side of that, it's allowed us to kind of push Georgia a little bit higher up the pitch. Georgia did a fantastic job for us in both full-back positions. She's a player, Georgia, who's able to play in a number of positions. So by Lucy coming back, allowing Georgia to push further forward has helped the team massively. And I think the communication that she brings alongside young players with her, like Ruby Mace and Jess Park in front of her, is massive for those players, and it helps them.
Thanks, Gareth. Really appreciate it. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks. Cheers.
Tom. Susie Rack, please.
Hey, Gareth. Hope you're well.
Thank you.
You've had a lot of injuries across this season, and obviously having players out is never a good thing, but is perhaps one positive that you've been able to give minutes to players across the squad, and what does that do for the morale and the feeling in the group at this crunch stage when you've got a group where pretty much everyone has contributed and has got you through a very difficult time together? That must be a different feel to sort of the standard dressing room.
Yeah, and I think it's testament to the squad, how everybody stuck together in that moment, everybody pitched in, sometimes not playing in their ideal role, but understanding the paramount importance of the team. We don't look on that lightly. We understand the importance of that. Now we've got a situation where we've got players who are really competing for, and there's real competition in the team, whereas previously it was a little bit needs must. But the attitude and the application has been spot on in that respect, and it's everybody's got their role to play, whether they're on pitch, off pitch. I think it's something that we're doing really well at the moment.
And is it easier in a way in that, obviously when you have a tough run like that, it means that it's not hard to get players up for every single fixture because every single point matters, and so even the fixtures that maybe aren't as glamorous, there's you need those 3 points, so the players sort of stay at a level of persistently wanting to get through and feeling motivated for those games in a way, because obviously going into these games, it's never hard to get players up to play Chelsea, United, Chelsea, for example, but you've sort of got the momentum of having to have that mentality throughout this recent run.
Yeah, but I think I've been really impressed with the players across the board, really, across in the women's game, that there is real humility there, and nobody kind of takes it for granted. If you're playing a a team that you're expected to be. I think they're probably the most dangerous games. I think the attitude and kind of focus has always been on this is our opponent, regardless of the level that we're coming up against. I think the respect has been there. We always really show humility to our opponents, and I don't see it as being a real big issue. But like you say, these games are easy to get the players up for it. Everyone's excited. Probably the most difficult job is managing that excitement and making sure we remain calm and stick to our processes of play that we do. Like I say, that gives us the best chance.
And just one more, forgive me, I wasn't at the game last night. We had Jamie Jackson covering it for us, so I didn't hear your answer on it. But how is Steph doing? What's the extent of her setback? And how important has it been to have her being sort of such a vocal part of the group on match days? You know, I've seen her, pretty much almost the entirety of when she's been out there at the games, involved in huddles, that kind of thing. I saw some photos of her in the huddles last night. Like, how important is her influence off the pitch as much as on it as well?
Yeah, it can be underestimated, the importance that she brings, Steph. She has a slight niggle at the moment, which is kind of something that we're not sure how long it's going to keep her out for. Hopefully not too long. But yeah, I mean, she has a huge presence, and she's been, a real leader at this club for a very long time, and her powers aren't waning. She certainly brings so much to us, whether she plays, whether she doesn't play. And that's why she's gone on to be such a success in the women's game. She's been amazing. She's been a real icon, and she's showing no signs of slowing down. Obviously, niggling injuries like this can be frustrating, and she'll be more frustrated than anyone at the moment. But you never see it with Steph. She always puts the team first and puts herself kind of to the side, and that's why she's a warrior and a real leader for us.
Awesome, thanks. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susie. Sandra Brobby, please.
Hi, Gareth. How are you doing? You all right?
Hi, Sandra. You okay?
I'm fine, thanks. Just one question I wanted to ask. I see in the Opta stats that City have had more top flight away wins than any other side since in the WSL since you've come in. I mean, how much would it mean for you to pick up that win, for example, on Sunday against Chelsea, considering the start you've had to this season?
Yeah, it'll be big. There's no, I think anyone going there and winning is big. So I think it's a tough challenge for us. One that I'm certain we're more than capable of. But we understand the danger that they bring. We understand that they're a team that if you switch off for any moment, they can hurt you. But I think, like I say, it will be big for us. I think it will be a big confidence boost as well. They've had the edge over us this season, if I'm honest. I certainly thought in the last performance when we played them, our performance levels were really high, and we had some really good moments and good opportunities, didn't take them, and were punished at the other end. So, it'll always be decided on those moments, those big game moments. And at the moment, in those areas, we're looking pretty good. So with the momentum we have, and this is what we're hoping for at the weekend.
And obviously, Julie Blackstad's come in. She's come into some, big games, obviously. And how does she feel about going up against Chelsea? I mean, how's she settling in generally into the squad?
Yeah, she settled in really well. I mean, she literally has only trained a few training sessions with us. Clearance came through really late yesterday afternoon, so it was more of a kind of gut feeling really as to throw her on in that game last night. But I think she's going to be a real asset to the WSL, and I think she's going to be something different to what we've maybe seen previously. I think she's really powerful and strong. Has real good quality with the left foot, able to play in a number of positions on the left side, and is still very young. A real highly talented Norwegian player who I think has got an exciting future ahead of her. So we're really pleased to have her.
And how do you feel about the tie race this season being more of a four-way thing? Before it was you and Chelsea literally to the wire. How do you feel about it now that Man United and Arsenal are more back in it?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, for the neutral, it's exciting. Especially when you have these types of fixtures at the weekend. But it just goes to show that the levels are improving in the WSL, and if we're able to ever get to add a few more teams into it, to make the competition, obviously, in terms of more than 22 games in a season, I think you would see some real different types of results on a more consistent basis. So it's. I think it's exciting for the neutral, but again, as always, we try and concentrate on what we do and give the very best of ourselves all the way through the season.
Great, thanks, and good luck, Gareth. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sandra. Catherine, please, from Daily Mail.
Hi, Gareth.
Hi.
You've obviously touched on Steph there a little bit and the uncertainty of when she might be back. Obviously, the England squad is named next week, and Steph, Lucy, and Ellie haven't had the chance to obviously play under Serena yet. I just wondered whether you'd had any chats with Serena about whether they're able to be selected for the squad, and if they are, whether their game time will be managed. Because, as I say, I'm sure all three of them are probably eager to play in this block of fixtures, but it is 3 games in quite a short space of time.
Yeah, I mean, I do have conversations with Serena. They don't tend to be about players in terms of whether they're ready, available, fit, etc. But I think with Steph, if she's not able to make this camp, then there's another camp in March. I think everyone's focus will be eventually turning towards the Euros. But what I try to do with my players is make sure that they let this take care of that. So basically focus on what we do, what we try and achieve, and then the rest takes care of itself. If you're performing well and performing at a high level for club, then you have a real, obviously, opportunity of being selected for international. So I think Steph has had contact with Serena as well, just to obviously discuss that situation. But again, it's controlling the controllables, and the summer, even though it's not a long way off, feels a long way off at the moment.
In terms of maybe like Lucy and Ellie's game time, again, assuming they are selected, would you kind of discuss with Serena perhaps on how much they are able to play in those 3 games, to make sure obviously they're not kind of doing too much after being out for so long?
It's something I've done in the past with Serena already, and the same with Phil previous. I think if there's a need to have that conversation, but again, that camp is still, we've got a couple of games left before that camp happens. So if we feel we need to have that conversation, and again, our medics are in touch with their medics a lot as well, coaches to coaches. So I think if it's something we need to do, then we'll assess that situation at the time and try and manage it as best we can. But at the end of the day, each coach wants the best from the squads they have. Everyone's got their own objectives, and there's big demands on these players, like we said before. So I think when we get the opportunity to give them a little bit of respite, we try to do that as best we can. But we'll always try to work together.
And just finally on Ellie, obviously she's had 2 games back now, and she has been out for such a long period of time. How has she kind of found coming back into the swing of things? Obviously, the Chelsea game, it'll be not quite 3 games in a week, but just 3 games in a week and a day. Is she obviously able to sort of play that game and deal with that for being out for quite a while? Yeah,
she's fully fit. She's really high on confidence. She's enjoying being back. She's enjoying having the feeling of being out there with the team, affecting things. And like I said previously, she's shown real good consistency in terms of what she does. The less we have her doing, the better, really, in terms of shots to save and everything. But I think, she's come in. She's confident. She obviously was out for a number of months, and the team have worked really hard here to get her back out on pitch. She's back now and feeling confident. So, I think for us it's managing her in the right way as we feel necessary. But for us, it's full steam ahead with Ellie.
Cheers, Gareth.
Thank you.
For the weekend.
Thanks,
you, Catherine. Finally, Dan Pentland, please.
Hey, Gareth. Hope you're well.
Hi, Dan.
Wanted to ask you about Kiara Keating, because it feels like she's probably the most busiest player at the club at the minute. Obviously, she's playing for Fylde as well. I think it was last week. I think she played on the Wednesday night, and then obviously on the bench on Saturday, played for Fylde on the Sunday. Obviously she's only 17 years old, but how is she kind of getting on, and how is she enjoying that experience of being kind of so busy and playing so many minutes?
Yeah, I think she's obviously enjoying the experience, and there'll be different experiences. But I think at the moment she's highly regarded by us. I think she's come in and done great in a difficult situation. She was thrust into it in the last minute against Leicester in the Conti Cup previously. She's able to adapt to those situations. She's done great in training. Her game would have come on a lot, and I think it's a great opportunity for her. she's enjoyed the last couple of months. And like I say, we rate her highly here, and she's one that we've definitely got hopes for a bright future.
Was it almost, a good time to be playing Chelsea and Man United, given the fact that you've got that Conti Cup final coming up? Does it kind of extra emphasise, if you like, the need to kind of keep focused and, not get sidetracked, if you like, by the fact that there's the cup final, early next month? Yeah,
I don't think we've put that to one side now, and we get ready for these next run of games. I think what it gives us is confidence, obviously, in the way that we're playing, the way that we're performing. Confidence of making a final, but we know that only goes so far. It's about performance now and making sure the details are right in what we do, and not getting carried away with that, not losing focus, and making sure there's a lot of football now to be played, both here and internationally, before that fixture takes place.
Cheers, Gareth. Best of luck for Sunday. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone. We'll leave it there.